Hi everyone. Today I have a special guest with my very good friend and my big brother Dimitrius with Koronos Realty located in South Florida in Miami. Dimitrius give us the honor to, he's on vacation with his beautiful family in Greece, and I kind of wanted to give an update that what's going on with South Florida real estate market, as he is my to-go man. He always give me informed, and he actually recently helped me with a purchase of a brand new project in Fort Lauderdale. That we get to that point. Hey, Dimitris, how you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Good, good.
I'm doing well, as you see my background from my from my holiday house here in Halkidiki, north part in Greece, close to the city where I born. Saloniki is the second largest city in Greece with 1.5 million population, and I enjoy here with my family vacations, few weeks, and I'm glad to have you, man.
Enjoying healthy food, seafood,
Yeah,
delicious,
absolutely.
delicious beef
Absolutely.
tacky, lamb
Yeah, man.
chops, all healthy. I love that. Um,
You know.
it's very healthy. That's why you're smiling and happy, and then you come back to the chaos here.
Yeah.
But uh, it's very interesting. A couple of nights ago, actually last weekend, I went to Miami Marlins game. New York
Mm,
Yankees was here, and I was attending that game. And after the game, I went to Brickell to just
hmm.
walk around and uh, get something to eat. Every time I go back to Brickell, I see a new sign of a project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was walking, I saw Dolce Gabbana project. I saw Aura, and keep walking. I'm like, holy moly! It's just like in that small piece of land bringing up these beautiful projects, you know. So there's lots of buildings, lots of project going on, including in Fort Lauderdale, which
Yeah.
has more opportunity as far as empty lands and so on.
Exactly.
And the social benefits that the government attracting investors and other people to move from out of the state to here to South Florida, which
Hmm.
sunshine and the beauty and the real estate and investment, it's booming here. So I give me a the current state of real estate market in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. In your opinion,
Yeah.
what's going on right now?
So the overall state for Miami and Fort Lauderdale, if we focus to sales for properties between $2 and $6 million in Miami, because this is the most inventory they have now. They facing a longer days on the market, which is between 4 and 6 months. And this is not a good thing for the developers, not a good thing for the sellers, but is a good thing for the buyers because the buyers they have a better opportunity. They have an amazing opportunity to negotiate the price for the property. Um, but the median price per square feet in prime areas like Miami Beach, Coconut Grove, and Brickell Waterfront remains high. Um, and the and in a new construction, pre-construction properties, the developers they offer like a closing credits or furniture packages in some projects. So they are more flexible, but not too much for the price because they wanted to keep the price in a high level. If we see the high luxury, the ultra luxury, as I say, over $10 million property, the market is it's better for Miami. It's more solid and it's a high demand. And we have also Fort Lauderdale for properties between $2 and $5 million waterfront in Las Olas and Harbor Beach and Rio Vista, selling slower than 2021, 2022 year, which, as you remember, was very high demand. And the days on the market is like 15% to 20%. The last statistics that I saw, a higher year over year. So, and but here is the thing: it's they are there is one good thing in Fort Lauderdale, that is all the properties, all the homes that investors or small developers, architects, they buy and they remodel, and they make amazing remodeling, and the resale value is very high. And people, they like that because they have that opportunity to have all the property, but right now looks like brand new, okay, and all the luxury style. And also the other good thing is the old properties in Fort Lauderdale, they didn't have the hurricane codes. Now, because of the remodeling, all the developers, they have the hurricane codes, which is another good thing. So it's like you buy a brand new house, okay? If it's the seller, let's say sellers, that is a question, sellers vs buyers market. Okay, in properties that is a two and over $1 million properties, it's a buyer friendly market. Okay, so it's a buyer's market. In the prime new construction, still leaning sellers market, especially in low inventory needs, direct waterfront and branded residence. What does this mean? As you mentioned, we see a lot of projects, but the projects that is in a waterfront or is like the Austin Martin or these kind of brand, still is leaning to the sellers market. So it's not a buyers completely, like as I mentioned before, to the properties that is a $2 million plus. Um, so the other thing is the impact of the high rates. Okay, the rising of the interest rates.
Interest rates, yeah.
Yeah, that also move up buyers and foreign investor using leverage. So this reduce the buyer pool in the $2 to $4 million range, and giving more leverage to patient buyers. If you understand what I mean, okay.
Correct.
So and the someone, and of course you, 100%, you're gonna say to me after that answer, okay, what is the fastest growing neighborhood for a properties that is going 1.5 million and up? So in Miami, it's for sure Coconut Grove, and then the Edgewater, and you know very well, as I know,
Yeah,
Edgewater,
that's
which
my
are
view.
luxury.
That's my
Yeah,
view of the hedge water.
exactly, exactly. And you say the view, and this is that you can't buy that view anywhere in Miami. Why? Because nobody can build in front of you because it's the water. That's why the waterfront also it's picked the price up, and it's not. We don't have a lot of space to negotiate, and there is not a lot of inventory, and properties doesn't stay on the market for a long time. Okay, so and also Miami Beach waterfront, of course. Okay, and Fort Lauderdale And I'm glad to say that because I say that for years, and almost nobody could see except you and your family that the Flagler Village it's booming because they starting to build the luxury condos with amazing amenities, better price than Miami, and near to the Bright Line, and brings you West Palm Beach and Orlando, whatever. And also Las Olas Isles with uh, spectacular homes and with a deep water docks. So listen that nobody mentioned that fact. The deep water docks, which means a big boat you can have in front of your house. And if you see the last 5, 7 years, we have more boats but bigger. So you have to see that, and you have to make a research that people they start get a bigger uh, uh, yachts, and that means you need a more deep water dock to park the boat. So who's going to offer that? So Las Olas has more
Correct.
inventory for that. So imagine now to tell you that like 10 years ago, and you have a couple of million or billions, and go and buy properties, flipping, remodeling with all the hurricane codes, and now you have the deep water docks. So here is the gold deal.
Correct.
So I mean, that is the comparison between Miami and Fort Lauderdale, and what each city has to offer, and what is the market right now in both cities.
So originally, when I moved to to Miami and I
Mhm.
purchased this property that you see the view behind me in Edgewater, back then there were lots of foreign buyers. Uh, I know since then we went through lots of ups and downs. So we had obviously pandemic and the COVID, prices dropped, and then we had within the US many people from especially New Yorkers, they moved to South Florida, and
Mhm.
that also affected the market as well. So right now that kind of everything is settled, and we have new president. South Florida is booming. Obviously, it's one of the most expensive places in the country. Uh, how is the foreign buyer market? Are they still attracted to buy in South Florida or invest in the properties in South Florida? So if I like, are they still making that large portion of uh, buyers in South Florida, or mainly it's the U.S. Um, populations with the money, of course, coming from New York or Virginia, they are still buying here.
So yeah, about the foreign buyers, it's
Yeah.
still strong in that luxury properties, and we have the Canadian and European buyers dominate Miami Beach and Brickell.
Hmm.
Northeast USA buyers active in Miami and Fort Lauderdale for new construction,
Yeah.
and is of course is a lot of facts. The number one is the tax advantage because no state income tax, plus you have a homestead benefits, and also new construction often offers lower insurance premiums due to building code compliance. So the new buildings, they are perfect for buying and save money through the insurance, because they have 100% the building code. And after the collapse of the building that we had, unfortunately, in
Yeah. Very sad.
Bar Harbor, yeah, it was a Surfside. It was like a disaster, and from that time they getting very strict. So I mean, you can see the whole building get delays to deliver the property because they have to do inspection over inspection to make sure all the codes meet
Correct.
the standards. And the other thing is for the price. So if we compare Los Angeles, New York, and Miami, is the major cities in USA, so you will see. And as I told you before in another conversation, like don't look like what you buy with a $2 million in New York and a $2 million in Miami, because the two different approaching. You can't say 2 million and 2 million. You have to say price per square foot, because the price per square foot makes the big difference to understand where is a better place to invest. So, for example, if you go in a prime waterfront in Miami, you can buy with 1,200 per square feet to $2,000 per square feet. Compared with Manhattan, for example, and you have to give over $3,000. So we're talking about double price. Okay, and Fort Lauderdale also offers a boating lifestyle better than Miami, and better than any other place with a 30% discount than Miami, up to 30%. Okay, so all that makes the investment to be more attractive for properties that 1.5 millions and up for investors. Um, and the other thing that I wanted to say is Fort Lauderdale, believe it or not, is more strong for rentals. And we're talking about long-term rentals. And based on of the uh, last news that I received, and the luxury condo performance. Um, we have that the new deliveries in Miami, the Waldorf Astoria. It's an amazing building. It's high end, ultra luxury. We have the St. Regis in Miami, and I wanted to make a parenthesis here, like, and probably we're going to discuss that, what people they have to afraid and what they have to be careful. St. Regis in Miami, they offer to the buyers two buildings. Okay, so they have to buy between those two buildings a smaller apartment, and then after 2-3 years, the developer decide to make one big tower with a huge apartments.
Oh,
So then they convert that project, okay, and that if for example you buy something for 2 million, now you have to pay $5 million because they convert the project. So a lot of people they back out, they get the money, and the people that they have the money they continue. Okay, so we have a lot of a lot of situations like that, and the resale. Here is the thing: the resale of 2010's build units is slower unless it's upgraded. Okay, this is another thing
can
that,
you emphasize on that, please?
yeah. Um, so the new deliveries, the new projects, okay, are selling well when they launch, but resale of 2010 build units is slower unless it's upgraded. That means if you compare the 2010 building with a 2025 buildings, it's completely different for what they have to offer, right? The luxury, the lifestyle. So that's why either you have to find something which is upgrade building from 2010, or you have to buy something new, something from, like a new construction, 2026, 2027, because the difference is huge. It's huge.
Wow.
The buildings of 2010 with the buildings now after 15 years, you can see a big difference. Big difference.
That's
And the
amazing.
appreciation construction also contracts for in demands branch has averaged like 12 uh, I can say like 15% between reservation and closing in 2023 to 2025 cycles. Okay, so and that's why we said they for the foreign buyers and they have all that advantage. Okay, and they have to guide to get a good guidance for the realtors.
So if
So
you
the,
have to give an advice that
mhm.
someone is listening to this podcast, uh, based on what you mentioned, there's so much going on, and each area of South Florida, in my opinion, if you think about Fort Lauderdale and Miami, each area, you dissect Miami to Miami Beach, to Brickell, to downtown Miami, to um, Coral Gables,
Oh,
and so on. Each area has
yeah,
its own hospitality. Each area has its own lifestyle. Each area has its own brand. It's not
hmm,
like a majority of nations. Oh, I'm moving to Miami. Oh, you're moving to Miami. All right. Miami Beach is different to Sunny Isle. Sunny Isle is
exactly,
different to Aventura. The lifestyle,
yeah,
the shape of the buildings, the price of the buildings, right?
yeah.
So, what are the current emerging neighborhoods and projects? I know at the beginning of this podcast, you emphasize on Coconut Grove, which I agree. Coconut Grove is actually, so this is what I was always saying. If you think about Coral Gables and Coconut Groves, very high and very beautiful areas, but you have that distance from yourself to Miami and Miami Beach, right? And it's more mainly relaxing, main family based and so on. So what are the current emerging projects and emerging neighborhoods that if you want to offer to someone as far as the style, the ups and downs in prices, what is your advice right now?
The advice for someone who wants to buy in Southeast Florida, is that you said?
That's correct,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So, I mean, always I start with a budget and the lifestyle that they want. It's two factors for me, and you know me better than anyone, and I'm glad you make all these questions. So um, that is the two factors because if you're looking for 10 million plus property, definitely you have to go to Miami in that branded buildings like Aston Martin, like Dolce Gabbana, okay, all these buildings because they offer you high end and ultra luxury property. Um, and the second is the lifestyle. What lifestyle you want? You want it to have more relaxed and more, or you want it to be like a close to the family oriented properties and what do you want? So if you want to have a party every day, definitely you go South Beach or Miami, Brickell, where is all the restaurants and the clubs located. If you like to have a boat and your lifestyle is yachting, you go to Fort Lauderdale. Okay, so everything it depends. But if you tell me, okay, um, because I know you're gonna question that to me, investment. Okay, if I
Correct.
have money and I want to invest, where can I invest? Again, it depends on the budget. If it's a high end, if you want to invest more than $8-10 million, you go to Miami, Bay Harbor, and Sunny Isles. If you want to have like between $2 and $5 million, definitely I can tell you go to Fort Lauderdale. Because what happened, Reza, what happened now to Fort Lauderdale is what happened 20 years before in Brickell. Okay, Brickell was nothing there. When I came in this country 20 years ago, I used to live in Brickell for 2 years. It was nothing. It was boring. It was like only we had the secafredo only for like coffee and relax and then they starting to build a club over there, and it was like a few other bars. nothing was there. And in 20 years, it's like 100 times more busy with all these restaurants and entertainment and buildings and all these the mall that they did, new offices, new business. So exactly the same thing will happen, I believe, in Fort Lauderdale, because I see the growing in the area. Um, so that's why my opinion is, if I had the money, go and invest. I will go and invest in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, beautiful. I agree
But
with you on that.
if I had the big money, I would go to Miami, to the high end, and sunny island.
Um, kind of want to focus on the expert advice. Um, what are some big mistakes that come kind of people making when they are coming to buy or think about buying and getting serious, think about buying in South Florida? What mistakes, in your opinion, they are making, and what advice do you have for them?
Yes. So here's the thing. We have we have a lot of branded high-rise launches, right? Like the Agony and the St. Reeds, and in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we see both luxury condo towers, like as I said, Flagler Village, Las Olas, and we have a lot of activity in the waterfront lots, and also we have the Bright Line expansion to Tampa-Orlando airports, and that it's a good value. And so all that and all the previous factors that I said that bring like they make attractive market, Miami and Fort Lauderdale and all the Southeast Florida. Okay, so the advice for the buyers right now, for, as I said, 1.5 millions and above, it's they have to do in resale, so they have to target for under 120 days of market listings. So here is the thing: they see for 1 year a property stays on the market, and they believe that, oh my God, I'm gonna make a great negotiation, so they are desperate. No, it's not, because if they're desperate, they were not gonna leave for 1 year the property over there. So what does these people do? Most of them, they keep the property in a high price. They don't negotiate because they don't care if to sell it or not sell it. You know what I mean? So that's uh, how the buyers they believe. That is the one mistake. They believe uh, if it's like for 6 months or 1 year on the market, oh, I'm gonna have, no. It's up to 120 days. It's good to see properties, so then you can negotiate the price or closing incentives,
One
closing
one other
costs, or
thing,
whatever.
one other thing that I am also the victim of it, the rushing through things. For example, uh,
Yeah.
most buyers don't, you know, obviously when you're talking about all these amazing, expensive projects that attract people to invest and to buy in
Hmm.
South Florida, um, you come up with the, I don't want to describe that as hidden fees, but
Hmm.
HOA fees,
Yeah. Let me
increase of
tell you for that.
increase of HOA and so on. Yes.
Got it. Got it. Okay. This is the common mistakes, right? For someone who wants to buy. So they are, as you said, they are underestimating the soft cost. What is the soft cost? I believe nobody hear that. So
No,
of
no,
course
this
it's
is
the
my first time. I'm glad you're
yeah,
mentioning this.
it's
So of course.
HOA, dock fees. So you have a boat, okay, and you see a property and they telling you like I think it was one property, two high-rise buildings in the Biscayne, close to Aventura. They built like 10 years ago that they finished that project and they have the marina. They get the permits to have the marina. Nobody had the answer because I bring clients over there. How much is going to be the dock fees? They give an estimate. And I say to my clients, I highly advise to them to have on writing in the contract for how long and how much is going to be the dock fees. Because the dock fees, it can be 500, it can be 5,000. Okay. So don't say that, okay, don't underestimating that. And also the other thing is the insurance. How much it will be the insurance? You go and you say, oh my God, Las Olas, I'm going to have my boat at front. Yes, but how much is going to be the insurance? Okay, make sure they have the codes and they have all this. And so assuming all neighborhoods rent equally well the short-term uh, rental laws. What does this mean? Back in Miami Beach, South Beach, it was like everybody starting to buying and pay overprice. What do Airbnb, right? But guess what? The rental laws get get very strict in South Beach, okay? And it was a big lawsuit for owners and realtors. Some they lost the license, and some they get the fines for up to $25,000 because it wasn't allowed
Wow.
to do Airbnb. But the buyers they underestimated that. They said, okay, who's gonna? And the realtor, of course, said, okay, I'm gonna make my commission. He's gonna be his problem, you know. But no, it's not his problem because if you, as a realtor, advise to them, oh, get it, and you're gonna do Airbnb without knowing the law of that particular neighborhood, then it's going to be a big problem. And then they starting have a big problem. They starting resale and the property stays on the market for a long time. So it was a big mistake and, and a common mistake in the South Beach, especially. And also another mistake, and I wanted to say that, is skipping pre-offer due diligence on the seawall dock condition and waterfront deals. So you gotta be careful with that. You have to pay attention. So not just go there and see and say, oh my God, okay, well, I have where I'm going to put my boat. No, you have to do the due diligence on the seawall dock and the condition and everything. So this is the most common mistakes for luxury properties. And uh, an advice that I wanted to give, because before I starting to get to say the advice for listings that stay for over 120 days, you got to be careful, because if it stays for 120 days and more, that means the sellers, most of the time, the seller doesn't care. You know, they just have a high price and they want to get this money most of the time, not always. And about the pre-construction, buy early in land cycle for max appreciation. Okay, so when the area reserve starting, to launch the project, I went with my client over there and we get an amazing price, beautiful price. Now to make like over 60-70% of the appreciation. It's amazing. So and always you have to verify the flood elevation and building recertification schedule. If you buy a new an apartment that is in an old building, always you have to verify the flood elevation if you buy a house, and if you buy in a building, the recertification schedule, the 40 years inspection, because a lot of HOA and a special assessment, they're going to come up. So your realtor needs to be on a track and to get to have on time the financials and everything. So the buyer needs to know exactly the financial and also the new special assessment is coming up, if they come, and how much it's going to cost, and if that financials, that reserve that we have covers, and how much reserves you have. So all these things we need to know, and don't ignore all of this, because in the future, when you buy the property, you're going to have a lot of surprises.
That's amazing advice that everybody has to consider. There's so
Mhm.
many. And now I learned a new term from you, soft, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, soft terms or soft payments. It really uh, gets you if you don't know that, and if you don't have that budget
Yep.
that okay, I don't care. I'm gonna spend on this. I'm gonna spend on this remodeling. I want this. I want that. If you have that money, yeah, that makes sense. But if you are actually managing things, and
Mhm.
you don't have to. I mean, if you're a wise person and you are in, no matter how much money you have, you should always manage your money, manage your finances, and be aware of what you are getting into. Uh, and maybe for a while you can handle that, paying all those soft fees.
Mhm.
But after the while, you're not gonna be capable to do that. So that's
Yep.
why it's very important to pay close attention to this. I want to kind of thank you so much for your insight, for all the information of the current market you're giving to everyone, and whoever that watching this. Demetrius has great knowledge of real estate and all the current projects, and I personally witness him to argue, to fight for me for any for the purchase that I want to do. Without mentioning any names, I want to see your side of the stories of one of the purchases that you did for somebody in South Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. Uh, it was very interesting, that purchase. It was kind of, it was not a there are standards that I want you to explain. If there is a new project of condo project, there is a standards. This is how much you pay to sign the contract. This is how much is your monthly payments during the project, and so on. But what I witnessed, you went above and beyond, uh, and uh, and you did something that is not normal. At least I never experienced that. So, for the privacy purposes, without mentioning names, I want you to explain that, especially with that project, what was the standard, and what did the buyer wanted, and what you did for the buyer.
Okay. So eh, what the buyer wanted. So the buyer wanted to get a good deal, first of all. Okay, and the buyer wanted to get something with a nice a new construction and with a great amenities and in the area that is growing. So it's not in the area like already established and already it's people know. So it was a couple of projects that I mentioned, and we went over there. And I'm a type of person like I don't want to push anybody. Uh, I don't want to steering, okay, and to say no, you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that. But if I see something is a great opportunity, and my client doesn't see, I have I have to tell them like and to make them to pay attention. Okay, so here is the thing. What happened is it was like two projects. and the one project, the same price, almost the same price. The one project it was in Aventura, the other project it was in Fort Lauderdale. Uh, Both great projects, but the one based on the square footage, it was similar price, but they offer a bigger two-bedroom apartment. Okay, so the price was higher in Aventura. The property was bigger. The other one it was smaller, but the price, of course, was lower. Aventura is Aventura. We know already established for decades. But in Fort Lauderdale, in that particular area, it was like over 14 new projects starting. Okay. So I see and I visit almost all the new projects and I get all the information for, it doesn't matter if I have to go in this project, I have also to go to the other project around the area to collect all the information. So I'm 100% sure that this project is the best for my client, because I don't want to show one project and then the other project, maybe one of the other project meets more the expectation of my client, and then say to me, hey, Dimitri, why you didn't show me this project? So I wanted to make sure. So I picked those two projects, and the thing is, we did a great negotiation. I make both developers almost fight who's gonna get uh, the deal, and finally we get the great deal in Fort Lauderdale with amazing in an amazing project. And I mean, I'm very glad about this client.
Yeah,
They are very happy with
I
the
have to tell
decision.
everyone, I was there. I was taking a tour of that project and I saw you in actions. And I'm not saying that because you are a very dear friend of mine. I have worked with few real estate agents in past. Uh, One thing I wanna kind of at the end of this conversation, I wanna mention this. You're an individual that not only you treat this as your business, but something is more than that to you. It's the relationship and the rapport and the bridge that you make between yourself and your clients. You make them part of your uh, family, and you go above and beyond for them, and you don't no matter if one of your client, he or she is a millionaire or someone that has a certain type of budget that reach out to you always welcome everyone. You're not the person that, oh, I because I sold X and Y Z luxury projects, I only work with certain amount of money. I hate those individuals.
Yeah,
You are a people person, and you work with middle class family, you work with families with high income, you work with any person from any background, and that shows your great personality and your welcoming. And that's why anytime there is a new project going on and I personally interested on that, I always reach out to you, I text you, despite even if I'm not interested, you go and find the information for me. You invest your time, you do that for me, and that shows that who you are. And I want everybody to, whether that in future you work with Dimitri or you don't work with Dimitri, always look for someone that has the values like Dimitri, because real estate, going to a property, whether it's investment or it's for you or you and your family or your significant others, uh, at the end of the day we call it home, and that must have that comforting message, that comforting uh, area for you that off the bat from the beginning you pick that step in the right direction with the right people. You do not want to have bad experience with bad memories. Some people they say, "Oh my God, I went through hell to buy this house. My real estate agent was horrible, or my broker was horrible. My bank gave me a hard time. Finally, I'm here." You do not want to have bad memories to get to that point, right?
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and me myself and many other people are witness of that. What you have done for them. Uh, I I what time is it right now in Greece?
Right now it's 8 o'clock p.m.
Oh, wow, eight. Wow, the sun is still up. Beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Look at
still.
that beautiful. Is that Mediterranean Sea behind you?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so
It's a
beautiful, man.
beach
Very
bar at
beautiful.
front. Yeah, it's
Very
amazing.
nice.
It's a walking distance, like 10 minutes.
That's
But
beautiful, man.
I wanted to, don't pass like this all that you said, because man, I mean, um, here's the thing. It's very honor to have a clients and to have and I wanted to say clients like you, and that became a
Thanks, man.
family,
Thank
because that is my goal as a person and as a professional. I don't want to build a relationship only based for money. I wanted to have a good friendship and to feel like you, your brother, your mother, and all your relatives, it's like my
Yeah,
family.
man, I
And
remember I remember you in some of the negotiations I witnessed you. You went out of norm. You even ticked off the sales representative. I want a price of this. I want a price of that. And then you walk around the room. You measure the room yourself. And this is something that I recommend to people. Find someone like Dimitri to make your experience amazing. That you say, you know what, I have someone that I can trust. He or she is fighting for me to something that I call investment, something I call future home. Whether it's your first home or your 100 homes. At least this is to me. A
yeah,
home has a special meaning to me. No matter if
yeah,
I have a home, it's
exactly.
10 hours cross the water here because I call it home. I know it's something for me, whether if I want to sell it in future or give it to my kids or give it to significant others and so on. The home, the meaning of home, the walls has a special meaning to me, and I'm
Yeah.
sure there are people like me out there.
And
So
these days, Reza, that is the problem that we have, because we are working not only materialistic base of materials, but we wanted to have a good relationship, like to love each other, to have a good connection.
yeah,
That is a problem, because some people they don't get it, because a lot of, for example, I'm going to say a lot of realtors they look only the client as a money, as a dollar. I'm not doing that, and when I don't do that, some people they don't believe. They said no, I don't think so. He pretends, but that's why I don't want a volume. I want just clients that I can handle all these clients. I don't want to give my clients to referrals or to other people, to work with, assistants or whatever. And here's the thing: when you have that relationship, that makes me feel that I work with intelligent people and very smart people. Because when the buyers, the clients that I have, they realize that and they know and they understand who they have in front of them, for me, that makes them smart and intelligent so I can do amazing things with that people in real estate, and to have a good relationship in the future like we do, you know I mean, look at that. There is not a lot of people that they're going to say all these good words that you said about me.
no, man.
There's no,
I'm saying
listen, there is
what I
no,
witness. The
yeah,
goodness coming from you, my friend.
yeah. So
All
thank
right.
you very much, and
All right.
I
No,
really
the special
appreciate
thanks
you.
from me for making this your valuable time with your family. You're on a vacation and coming here and having this conversation with me. Um, Thanks a lot, man. I look forward to see you back in Miami.
in a
And
few weeks.
all right, be safe. Have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the beautiful country of Greece. Give my regards to all friends and family. Thank you very much.
Okay, same
Take
here.
care. Thanks,
Bye
my
bye.
friend.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.